Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. It is a Sunday for me, and the issue that I'm having was I didn't have an audio jack on my new PC. I did, it just wasn't working anymore, so I had to buy a new one. So I haven't filmed it forever, so I apologize. The next 5 or 6 or 10 days, it's all just me wearing this shirt. Because I had to film everything in one day, even though because I've continued to watch everything, but I haven't been able to film it. So now I'm filming it all. But today is a big day for all of us because this is a series you all voted on. Back about a month or two ago, I had a poll saying that when I finished a series, which series would you like to see? And I looked at the poll and I took every single part of what you guys said, and what I did essentially was I added them in order of what amount of votes it got. So Lord of the Rings was first, and then second was Quentin Tarantino. So later this month you'll see me starting Quentin Tarantino, and then there's Harry Potter, Robin Williams, and then I've got Jim Carrey at the end of the year and Star Wars at the end of the year. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I know, I'm excited. So let's go ahead and begin the series. We're beginning the series. It is a 6-part series, so it's 6 weeks long, with a break actually. So it's 7 weeks long because we're gonna be taking a break to watch the Saw movies. So it's going to be about 7 weeks long total. But let's go ahead and start talking about The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, was released in 2001. It was written by Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, and Peter Jackson, and it was directed by Peter Jackson. I have seen the first part of this movie before. I have not seen any other bits of The Lord of the Rings before in my entire life. Mainly because it doesn't interest me. I'm a big reader. I love to read. I try to read everything first. Harry Potter, for instance. I've read the Harry Potter series probably at least 100 times. Almost literally. I grew up reading them and I read them all the time. And I tried to read The Hobbit when I was a little younger, and I just couldn't get into it. It's really dry for me. But you guys said you wanted to have me review the movies, so I decided I would review the movies. So just know that I have not read the books. So if you have any discrepancies, let me know in the comments down below and be like, hey, I know you haven't read the book, but just in case you're curious, this happened in the book. Just remember how to be polite and nice, because I'm trying to build a positive community here. But I love to hear from you guys, so drop things down in the comments below if you guys have comments on the movie itself or the comparisons to the book or anything you guys want to talk about. Really, I love talking in the comments. But this movie was really fun to watch for me. I honestly am kind of surprised, because I had seen the first half before, right? I'd seen until the part where he woke up with Hugo Weaving in that one place. I don't remember what it was called, but I'd watched until then before. And then I woke up at 4 a.m. one day because I have a friend who lives here who fell down the stairs, and that woke me up. So what I did was I just started watching the movie at 4 a.m. And honestly, I'm really happy I did, because it was really fun, and it really kept my attention really well. And I do have to give a lot of that credit to the score. The score is amazing. Oh, it's good. It's almost Pirates of the Caribbean good, in my opinion. And I say Pirates of the Caribbean's better because I would study to that. I probably would not study to The Lord of the Rings for a few reasons, really. But I think that the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song is better to study to. But it's still a fantastic score, this one is, for The Lord of the Rings here. And this is a non-spoiler review, and here's a little brief synopsis of the plot. Essentially, Bilbo Baggins has a ring, and it's a very powerful ring that can keep the bad guy, what was his name, Sauron? No, Sauron's the wizard? I don't remember. Basically, Bilbo has this ring, and it's called the One Ring, and it's the one ring to rule them all, because there are other rings that people have, and they give them powers. This one grants the power to be invisible. And essentially this Dark Lord is saying, oh no, I'm going to get the ring. I'm going to bring it back, because once he puts the ring back on, he can come back to life. So it's basically this dark force being contained in this ring, which is a really cool idea. And then what happens is Bilbo leaves because he's trying to go on with his life and he's ready to die. So he goes on with his life. And he leaves the ring for Frodo. And Frodo isn't really... He doesn't want to put it on for bad reasons, so he isn't really affected by it as much. So he's holding the ring, and this really awesome wizard named Gandalf is like, hey, let's go destroy that ring so that way the bad Dark Lord can't come back. And Frodo's like, yeah. So then they walk for a while. And like some things ensue, and there's problems, and there's roadblocks, and obviously it really is a road trip film, which I'm okay with. But yeah, it really is. It's a really really fun movie. And I'm not going to mention the ending, and the ending's kind of spoilery, but it doesn't really matter because there's still 2 more movies. But I'm not going to mention it regardless. It really is a fun movie to watch. There's a lot of really fun things that happen on the road that I think were really good. There are some things that happen on the road that I wasn't happy with. They were just kind of like, must he stop at this bar? Like, can't he just get to, Mordor so he can throw the ring in the fire? I understand that's not how it works. So, like, I understand why I'm upset about it, but still. There's a few things that I didn't really like. Like, I didn't like the length of it. It probably could have been shorter, and not as long without being less interesting. Like, sure, I agree that everything that's in the film was good and like it was meant for a reason, but they probably could have cut out a lot of the establishing shots. But the establishing shots are probably pretty expensive because of all the sets and stuff. One thing about this movie that is really impressive is its mark on special effects on the world. Right, these had so many great special effects, particularly using miniatures and using camera distance as a means of making somebody larger, right? Because when they wanted to make Gandalf really big, they could either transition so we could see only him and then transition back and pretend the camera's going downward so we could see like Bilbo or Frodo or whatever and make them seem so small. The other thing that they do is they have people in the far back, right, who appear to be smaller because they're farther away from camera. But they look like they're right next to each other, so it's really interesting how they were able to do that. There's a whole bunch of really awesome things you can find online about that. My favorite is from Corridor Crew. I watch Corridor Crew all the time. I trust them. They're really great. So shout out to Corridor Crew. They will never see this video probably. But if you guys like that stuff, they do have, I think it's a 2-part series on the Lord of the Rings special effects. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and check that out. It's really, really fun. And they go through what I just went through basically, but in a lot more detail. Let's talk about some acting here, starting with Elijah Wood as Frodo. I don't really know a whole lot about Elijah Wood, surprisingly. I feel like I would. But yeah, he's Frodo, and he's basically Daniel Radcliffe in Harry Potter, where he's young and he's British and he has blue eyes, and like those are like the only comparisons really, except that they were both in fantasy films. But he was really good here. I really was happy with it. I couldn't see Daniel Radcliffe doing this the same way I couldn't see Elijah Wood being Harry Potter. It just wouldn't have worked. But I am really happy with him here in this movie, largely because he was able to bring such an innocence and like an air of wonderment to it. Because it's so easy. Because if you're an actor, right, you've read the script probably like dozens of times, so it's like nothing comes as a surprise to you. But it has to be a surprise for your character. So I think he does really good with that, because it's really easy to see when people don't do that, because you're like, that didn't look very good, and you know why. So I think that's really, really fun. I think he did a very good job there. Sean Astin as Sam. He didn't really have a whole big part here, but I'm anticipating him having a bigger part in the next couple films, because I've heard that he is a big deal, but he hasn't been a big deal so far. So hopefully soon we'll see that big deal comes to life. I do like Sam's character. He's fun, and he's very loyal to Frodo, and I think Sean Astin did a good job. I mean, I don't think it's a particularly hard role to play, at least yet. But we'll see when we get to the Two Towers next week to see if that changes at all. And Ian McKellen as Gandalf. Gandalf is a fun character. He's Dumbledore, but like not really quite Dumbledore. Gandalf's a little bit more serious than Dumbledore is, which I appreciate. And I do like Gandalf. I think he's really fun. He's this giant wizard who can like cast spells, and the whole neighborhood loves him, and he's great. And I think Ian McKellen was a perfect choice. I really don't see anybody else playing this part. I really don't. So great job there. I'm really excited to see the next few movies because I love Gandalf. I don't know what's going to happen for the new Lord of the Rings series they're doing. I think it's Amazon. I don't know who they're going to cast. I don't know how it's going to compare to this. Honestly, I'm not looking forward to it. I don't think it's going to compare to this. I really don't, because this has just been really, really fun. I honestly really love this movie. I didn't have a whole lot negative. There were some issues with it, but I did have a whole lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed my time watching it, and I can't wait to watch The Two Towers. I'm watching it tomorrow. It'll be available next week on the channel, and I'm really excited to watch it. So make sure you guys check that one out. And I'm gonna go ahead and give The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, an A. I don't think it's quite an A+, but I don't think it's as bad as an A-. I really do think an A is really good for it. I had a great time watching it, and you guys will too. It is available for free to subscribers on HBO Max, so make sure you guys check that out. It's a whole lot of fun. I love HBO Max. It's probably my favorite streaming service I have. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today. Make sure you guys are following along for the rest of the week. We had The Great Gatsby, Jessica Jones Season 2, Welcome to Marwen, and Chef. And make sure you guys are looking forward to that, because I know I am. And I think that's going to do it for me today. And as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.